I've got some just nuts and bolts questions about the texting thing. This is something I've heard people talk about, but when I hear people talk about it, it's like, does it work? It's not, this works and this is how I do it. So I'm really interested just to find out how this is working for you and sort of the pros and cons of going this route.
Yeah.
And actually, just to clarify, I know we've spent the first few minutes talking about direct mail, and now we're talking about texting. Are you saying texting should be done in addition to direct mail or instead of direct mail? And which comes first?
In my opinion, and this is, everyone has their own comfort. Some people really love direct mail and it's working for them. If that's working for you, stick with direct mail first and then move to text. For me, texts are working incredibly well. In fact, that we didn't even send mail for 6 months. Like we just recently, the last month or two, started picking up mail again. That was the last July till last month. So, and we've been doing the best we've ever done with just texting. Now we are missing a significant portion of our list by just doing texting, but we were able to test a bunch of markets. Now let's talk about nuts and bolts of texting. So, go ahead if you have a specific question.
I was curious. So like, what is the cost for skip tracing in like, because I know like I've done some skip tracing before too. And sometimes like either nothing comes back or they get like 10 different numbers and none of them work.
Yeah.
And just trying to figure out like, I assume you don't have to pay anything when nothing comes back in terms of a phone number, right? And
yeah,
I don't know, just cost of that kind of thing.
Right. So Direct Skip is the company that I've partnered with. I've got some really good pricing negotiated with them for land investors. I did a bunch of research on skip tracing, and I also tried a couple different tools. The reason why I went with Direct Skip is that they pull from a database called IDI Core, which is one of the top record consolidation companies. They actually pull from credit reports. So if you go to lease a car or you're applying to rent an apartment, they're actually pulling from that data that's going into their credit report. So it's very current. You will pay if somebody has a landline. You can't necessarily choose, hey, I only want to pay if they have a mobile. So, and then I've negotiated them down to 10 cents a record to pull, but there's packages. So I typically get the package, I think it's about 10,000 skip traces for 8 cents a piece.
Awesome.
To get done.
Gotcha. And then when it comes time for the texting, so what software is being used for that?
Yep. So I looked at all of them. Again, I partnered with a company called Launch Control, and I've created a little community with them. They were meant for house wholesalers, but I have been working directly with them to make this really friendly for land investors. And they've been extremely awesome. And I'm actually partnered with them on more education. But if you go same REI Optimize and then go to recommended tools, I've got the Launch Control link there. And Launch Control, the reason why I love them is they actually started with a group of attorneys that came together and basically said, look, we know that this is out there. It's TPCA compliance, and we are concerned about being compliant. We're concerned about real estate investors being compliant. They work with, and they're partnered with something called the Blacklist Alliance, and they do TPCA risk mitigation. So that was my biggest concern. It's like, is this legal? What's legal, what's not? And so they've created a tool that's basically created, what do we call them when you bowl with bumpers? Like all of these guardrails so that you and your team are not breaking TPCA rules. For example, one of the rules that the TPCA has put in place is that if you text somebody, a first text, cold text, you have to wait 30 days to text them again if they don't respond to you. So many other tools out there just allow you to text someone at 28 days, 20 days, 15 days, 2 days, 1 day. And that's breaking TPCA compliance. You may not even know that you're doing it because your team is the one that's sending out text. So this tool physically does not allow you to send a text to somebody within 30 days. They recognize that, hey, nope, this has been sent before. You cannot do that. There are negative keywords that the carriers are looking for. They're looking for words like county, purchasing, selling, like literally every word that you could imagine. They're looking for interested, out of the blue, COVID. Those are all negative keywords that the carriers are constantly looking for to identify spam. When you're writing text in this tool, you cannot even save a message if you have one of those words in there. They also have something called spinner tokens. So the other thing that the carriers are looking for is the same message going from the same number over and over again. So if you use a tool that just allows you to drip a text and then you send an email, then you send a text, but you're sending the same message over and over and over again, you're not even going to realize it because you're not going to see it. It's going to look like it's delivered, but it's not. They're going to catch it if they're getting really good at it. So launch control has something called spinner tokens, which means that you can set a third of the messages to get hey, a third to get hi, and a third to get hello. And you can create these little tokens so that one message could have like 80 different variations on it. And then a full template is 5 messages. So you could have, I've got a copywriter that's he plays a game with himself to see how many variations he can get. But a lot of times we're seeing 800 or 900, somewhere between 500 and 1,000 different variations per one template. And we have 10 templates.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.